Everyone, my name is Steve Stine here from guitar-Zoom.com, and I'm excited to share an awesome guitar tip with you today. We're going to be diving into the world of palm muting. Now, you're going to learn how to palm mute in about 5 minutes today, even if you've never done it before or struggle with trying to get a good sound out of it. Now, with 2 simple tips, you'll be palm muting in no time and taking your playing to a whole new level. This is going to elevate your playing and make your songs and your band sound tighter. It's easier than you think, and if you can strum a chord, you can absolutely learn how to play this. I call this the palm mute power move. I'm going to break down exactly how it works. Now, if you stick around until the end of this video, we're going to put this into action with a Metallica-style riff so you can practice and hear how awesome it sounds. So let's go ahead and take a look at this one. First thing we're going to do, I'm going to have some distortion on, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the karate chop part of my hand right here, and I'm going to place it right where the string meets the bridge. And it doesn't matter what kind of guitar you have. You do have to explore this a little bit. So let's talk about this. Again, taking the karate chop part, I'm going to set it down. Notice how I'm not, closing my fist or anything. I kind of want to lay across. That way I've got control of all 6 strings, but I'm going to be doing my palm muting on these 6 string at this point. So what I want to do is explore how far to move forward or backward to get the proper sound. If I move too far backward, of course, I won't get any palm mute at all because I wouldn't be touching the string. And if I move too far this direction, I'm going to kill the string instead of deadening it and palm muting it like this. So what you want to do is find the point between those two, what feels best for you depending on the guitar you play. You might be playing, for instance, a Les Paul where your arm's going to be back a little bit more, right? Depending on where the bridge is, and you have to explore this a little bit. So let's take a look at this. So that's the first tip, is figuring out where you need to be to get the optimal palm mute sound. Now, there's no perfect way of doing this. Everybody's different. Some bands will have a little bit more palm mute, so you might push forward a little bit. And some bands will have a bit looser palm mute, so you might back up a little bit. Now, I don't really base my palm muting on particular songs or bands or something like that. It has more to do with what feels most comfortable for me when I play. It's just that subtle movement, you can hear the difference between it tightening up and loosening up. So that's the first tip. The second tip is that you need to be careful with how hard you're pressing into the strings, because when you're doing palm muting, you don't really need to go. Notice how when I press in, you can hear it chunk a bit more. And the pitch is going to elevate just a little bit. Now, again, that doesn't mean that there aren't times that you might want to press in to get a bit more of that real chuggy kind of palm mute, because you might. Okay, what you have to do is explore these 2 things, where you're going to be this way and how much you want to press in. Now, most of the time when I'm doing a palm mute, I'm really not pressing in at all. But if I feel the need to get a bit more of an aggressive chug, I might push in just a little bit to get that kind of sound. So it doesn't matter what string you do this on. Most of the time your palm muting is going to be on the 6th string or the 5th string, maybe the 4th string, and that's about it. And you can practice different ones. It doesn't have to be a particular speed. You might be going a lot slower. It doesn't matter what speed you go. The most important thing here is that you're not trying to make some sort of technical practice out of this. You're trying to listen and feel what it sounds like to get a proper palm mute. Now, you could do this with a clean channel or an acoustic guitar as well, but it is really nice to have distortion on there, something that feels comfortable to you, that sounds good to you, and kind of dial that in. And figure out where that is. Hey, I'd like to give you a free pass to my best courses that will take your playing to the next level fast. Just go to guitarzoom.com and get started for free. And there's also a link in the description. Thanks. So let's turn this now into some sort of exercise, and we'll use something a bit more Metallica-esque, if you will. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to palm mute on the 6th string, and I'm going to be doing some things on the 5th string, which is very common to learn how to palm mute and then lift the palm mute when you don't want it. So the first example I'm going to give you is, let's just say we took 8 counts, and I'm gonna palm mute the 6th string for 8 counts. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay? And again, I can always dial in as needed. I can press in a little bit or release a little bit, trying to figure that out as you're practicing. Now let's just choose a number between 1 and 8. So let's say we choose 7, okay? So as I'm doing this palm muting exercise, what I'm going to do is on the 7th beat, or the 7th count, I'm going to lift the back up, so I'm not palm muting, and then when I get to number 8, I have to drop it back down. So I don't need to lift my whole hand up, I just need to lift the palm mute. So watch what happens. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you start learning how to palm mute and then release. And it isn't a whole hand movement, it's just lifting and then dropping back down again. That's all you're going to learn how to do, is just lift that wrist and then drop it back down. So if I go, okay, there's my 8. So if I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And everything's very relaxed. I'm not tense. Even though sometimes the music might sound that way, when I'm trying to execute this, certainly if I want to go faster, I need to learn how to relax. So as I'm doing all of these things, all my muscles and tendons are just relaxed. Now, you might choose 2 things. Let's say we chose 3 and 7. So we're going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Just different kinds of things like that. You can do anything that you want. Then you might add in, for instance, a chord. Let's say we were going to go from E to an F power chord. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So now on 3 and 7, I'm actually strumming more than one string. I'm strumming a couple of strings to make this power chord. You could just make all sorts of different things. So now let's do this sort of Metallica-inspired idea. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to the 7th fret of the 5th string, the 6th fret of the 5th string. So we're going to go like this. I'm going to palm mute, and then I'm going to play the 7th fret of the 5th string. So I'm palm muting twice, and then I'm going to do the same thing, but I'm going to move to the 6th fret. And then I'm going to move to the 5th fret. So I have 2 palm mutes, and then a strum, in this case, single note picking of the 5th string. See that? So I'm going 1, 2, 1, 2. And then when I start all over, I'm going to do a palm mute of 3. I'm ending with a palm mute and then starting with 2 palm mutes. So I have. So step number 1 is learning how to palm mute and get a good sound out of it. Step number 2 is learning how to palm mute and release, because that's what you do in most songs, is you're going to be doing a series of palm mutes, and at some point you're going to come out of that palm mute into a strum or a single note pick or something like that. So these are really great exercises to practice. Hopefully that helps you and gives you something new to work on, all right? Thank you for watching this video. If you're enjoying this video and you'd like to support the channel so we can continue to bring you more free content, please take a moment to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications, and let me know what you think in the comments below. Also, if you'd like more in-depth training and courses, go to guitarzoom.com and get started for free today.